Welcome back to Wednesday. Welcome back to Open Studio, everyone. How are you all doing? It is New Year's. New Year's Day, New Year Day. I don't know, whatever. Happy New Year's. Sorry about that. Choked myself up. Yay, we are doing it. All right, back at it. What do we got? We got green things and buildings and stuff. All right. The good news is this painting will be done in 25. So there's that. We're going to be wearing shorts when it is, but that's okay. All right. Mix up a dark. Now this is that whole thing again. So on the very end of the last episode, I put these little, oops, get that out of the way for you. These little white lines in here on this tennis court or park or whatever. But those white lines are not like great. They're too thick, but there's a shadow underneath them or some sort of dark underneath each one. So that I can kind of use that to kill two birds with one stone. I can do the shadow underneath, make sure this paintbrush is relatively dry. So I can use it to do the shadow underneath, but I can also use this black to shape that white line too. It's a little bit too thin for what I need to do here, but it'll work. Just have to be patient for the brush to dry out a little bit. So that's really cool. That allows me to make that ridiculously thin white line that's there. All right, that's good. Happy with that. Let's move on to, all right, there's all kinds of cool stuff going on here. Okay, oh, I got that little guy right there. Okay, the little guy. Whatever this little building is right here, little roof. So are you guys resolution type people, or are you guys just, always get it done type people? I'm an always kind of get it done type person. Like when it comes to the new year, yeah, there are things that I want to change, but it's not like some sweeping thing. Like everything that I want to get done that isn't done yet is on a list anyway. So what do you guys think? Are you guys like, it's time to redo my entire life? That's a lot of pressure. I see people with resolution lists like, these are the things I'm going to change in 25 or whatever. And I'm like, yikes, that's a lot of pressure on you. It's like, why don't you just pick one thing? You know what happens. You go and make a list that's 85 items long of everything that you don't like about yourself. And then in February, when 2 things on that list are done, you feel like trash that you didn't get anything done. You dump the whole list, But if you start out with 2 things, by February you get those 2 things done, you feel pretty damn good, don't you? You just move on to the next 2 things. But hey, what the hell do I know? It's really dark in here. I feel like I need to airbrush that. I feel. So I'm going to keep working down here first. We'll resolve this. What I'll do is I'll probably run to the edge here and then jump back up. Again, there's no rhyme or reason to that. It's just kind of what I'm feeling at the time. Yeah, because I can really see this building here, so I'm going to lock in with this building and kind of get into it. And that's exactly it. I do find that I get into the painting more like when I first sit down with it. I'm like, it's just so crazy. I can't wrap my head around it. There's too much going on. But then as I work on it, I just start to see more. My eyes get used to looking at it and ripping it apart, and it becomes a lot easier. which is great, because it can be scary when you're like overwhelmed with something like this, you know. What's going on here, boy? I'm going to redo that, because that went sideways. All right, the street here, got that, those buildings, gray roof. We'll do that while that's drying. So my resolution, or the things that are on my list of things to do, I'll share with you guys so you guys can keep me honest during the year. So I have to drop the last 15 pounds to get back to my fighting weight, which is 200 pounds. It's been going good. But you know, as if you've ever tried to lose weight, you know that those last 10 pounds are the toughest. Your body wants to hold on, you know. So, but I have lost a bunch. So I've lost 20 pounds already. So my heaviest, I was 235, which I'm 6'3". So 235 on 6'3" shows like I was having to buy different pants. That's not good, because I'm going to be 56 this year, and we don't want to add to the list of things that could fall off this bus, you know. So try to remain healthy in 25, so that limit the number of things that, you know, could be potentially bad as I enter my fully gray years. What else on my list? Yeah, the big one for me, and you guys were part of this, because if you're part of my YouTube family, you noticed that last year I suspended the live feed that I was doing on Thursdays. So I was doing a live feed on Thursdays in the afternoon for my UK buddies, which I will get something going at some point. I keep promising that, and I will. But a big thing last year was that I really start to focus more on these paintings than the smaller, even the smaller commission type paintings that I was working on. I really wanted to kind of make sure that, again, as I enter my gray topped years fully, I want to make sure that I'm producing a bunch of artwork that I'm very proud of, you know, that shows the extent of where I'm going in this whole thing. And while doing stuff for other people and doing commission work and all that stuff is great when you're, you know, when you're building your career and all that, it doesn't necessarily tell the, you know, story that I want to tell. You know what I mean? Like I trust me, I love painting people's pets and their kids, and, you know, landscapes that are important to them and all that. But, you know, when I do a painting like this, you know, this defines for me what, you know, what my goals as an artist is, as far as, you know, what I want to get done as far as the work goes. And I made a promise to myself in 24 that I'd focus more on that. And you'll also notice that if you're on Monday nights, where we do the Monday Night Live, I was doing 5 little black and white paintings every week, which was great. We were having a blast doing it, and I love doing them. Those are really quick. They're like 2-hour paintings, and I would do 5 of them. But it was taking, you know, a day and a half to do all those paintings and set them up and get them in the, you know, on the computer for Monday and all that stuff. And again, it was great. It's a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, you know, those paintings tell only part of the story, and the more entertainer part of the story, and not the artist part of the story. They do tell the artist's story in a way. But yeah, I want to make sure that I'm putting a lot of effort into paintings like this. So I guess that's the long-winded number 2 on the list of things to do. Number 3 on the list of things to do is I have to spend more time with family, and I have to spend more time not doing art. And I know that sounds weird, but I love what I do. And that, that also means that, if I have free time, this is what I'm doing. So I don't take a bunch of vacations. Actually, I don't really take any vacations unless they're, I'd say work related, but I love, like, for me, like when we went to the art circus, we weren't, taking a class. Marge was a guest artist for that. And so I tagged along, and it was a blast. It's work related, but it feels like a vacation for me. So that's what I mean. I do these things and they feel like vacations, but they're really not vacations. So I need to take more vacations. Just kind of go somewhere and just enjoy that place. That's one of the things I need to get done in my life. So that's also on my list of resolutions. And then, continue on what I'm doing so that I get more time to get back to Massachusetts more often. Make sure Marge can get back to Wisconsin more often. That's always on the list, to figure out a way to make that happen. And, yeah. So that's kind of but see, that's my list. It's huge, but it's not a million things, because there's a million things that I always want to be better at, but they're not specifically on a list of, pass or fail. They're just always like, got to get them done. I do have, I use that Stephen Covey stuff a lot, the 7 Habits, which I went over in a Tech Tuesday. If you're interested, I put up, or I posted my version of his planner, and that's free. You can get that from my website. It's a spreadsheet that I use, so it's an Excel spreadsheet, but it's you can download it for basically my website. Well, I'll give you the quick story. My website won't allow me to put free items up on the store. So the way I got around it was there's a code. And if you watch the video, the Tech Tuesday video on my planner, the code is in that description. So what you do is you go on, you buy the spreadsheet for $1, use a code, and then the code gives you $1 off. So it's free. But if you're interested, it's a really great spreadsheet. And it's just a planner. It's a weekly planner, but it's very intuitive, and it's very, it's not, how to describe it. It doesn't like force you into doing stuff. It just helps you organize what you already have to do. You know what I mean? And it's just a really nice setup. Okay, I'm feeling good about this street. It's coming together. I'm wondering what's going on up there, though. And this little blue guy right here, too. You on the other side. You can't see it in the reference photo. But I'm going to... Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. A little bit darker over here, too. Just a minor adjustment that I kind of caught my eye. Again, you can't see it in the reference, but a little more of that. Okay, good. Yay. Totally side note. Last week, I got a package from Gary Shees, who's a great follower, great friend, just all around super guy, very supportive, and so he sent me a gift, which I didn't know I even needed until I got it. So he sent me a T-shirt, and it says "Yay" on it. And when I first got it, I'm like, wait, do I say "Yay" a lot? And so I had to clarify with Gary, and he goes, yeah, you say it a lot. And I'm like, oh, really? And then I showed the shirt to Marge. She goes, that's amazing. You say that all the time. And I'm like, oh, crap, I do. So thank you, Gary. I didn't realize I did that, but now I do. But I'm not going to stop doing it, so yay. Okay. I have questions above this building here. Let me start. All right. This little area right here is great. It's a great example of what I was talking about, getting kind of visually overwhelmed. Like, I'm like, what's going on there? So when that happens, what I do is I just kind of lock in. So I know this blue roof, I can see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock in on this little white building above it because I can see that one too. And if I do that, then I've got two of the little things down and I just keep moving on from there. So it is the constant back and forth of like being like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Freaking out. And I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine. There we go. And I'm waiting with anticipation too. So if you guys are also following the YouTube channel, which you're here, so thank you. I appreciate that. I didn't post it on my channel, but I did a metal, is it Metal Time or Metal Craft? Now I can't remember, but it's a 3D metal puzzle that was built by the folks at Spray Gunner, and then they sent it to me. And it was a model of the Antonov 225, the huge Ukrainian transport plane that the Ukraine's built. And there were two of them, or one and a half built, and it kind of represents the Ukraine now. So the Spray Gunner sent me a Metal Time model of it and said, do whatever you want on it. You know, actually, they didn't say do whatever you want on it. You know, they mentioned sunflowers and blue and yellow for the Ukrainian flag, and that was it. They said, go from there. So I did the whole thing. I made a video on it. It's on there. The full video is on their site. It's from not beginning to end. Oh, maybe it might be beginning to end. It is beginning to end. But it's, you know, it's a 1-shot or 2-shot video. You know, it's not like Open Studio. And then as a thank you, I heard that they might be sending me an airbrush. So I'm super excited about this because it's an airbrush brand that I don't have yet. So they are sending me, sounds like they're sending me one of the new Infinities, which will be very exciting to try. So I'll share that with you because I can incorporate that in this painting easily, because it's, from what I understand, I think the model I'm getting is just a really high detail brush, which will be perfect for that. And I hope I love it, meaning, I mean, I know it's a great brush because I've seen so many great reviews on it, but again, brushes, airbrushes and paintbrushes are like clothing, you know? You get really super comfortable in the ones you use all the time, or tools in general. And even if it's a great quality tool from someone else, it just doesn't feel right, you know what I mean? But I'm really hoping that, you know, I'm really hoping I'm comfortable with it. So I can use it, I could just put it in the rotation, you know, that's really the goal. That would be really exciting. So we'll see what happens. There's been some back order issues or with all that. So I heard from them just recently. So they asked if I wanted to hang on for it. I'm like 100%. Yes, 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 and yes. I think that's going to be super exciting to have a new brand around here, you know. I mean, I love the Iwatas, but I also love trying all kinds of other things. You know, like I have the Grex brushes and I have the Badger brushes, and I just love, I love it all. So it'd be fun to have, another big time brush in the mix. So hopefully you see what's going on here. Because I did this one, I was able to do this little guy right here, this minion building. And then I was able to jump over and see where those things were now. So just taking it one step at a time and not getting overwhelmed with it, because it's super easy to get overwhelmed, especially now that I'm moving up into the area where it's not so clear, what I'm looking at. It's a lot of, just shapes. So, I got to make sure that I really stay honest with what I'm painting. All right, what do we got going on here? I don't know. This is very, very bright, this little white builder right here. So plus I need to fix the windows. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to put a quick wash over it to kind of calm it down a little bit. Again, I just had a terror moment where I looked down to make sure that the microphone was on. The motorcycle Generations Open Studio had a couple of them where I forgot to turn the microphone on, did the whole thing, and the microphone wasn't on. Oop, yeah, it's too watery. Shoot. We're going to let that dry so I can fix the windows again. That's all right. Yeah, so when that happens, just kind of... Oh, those windows suck down there, too. All right, then. You know what I'm going to do? So I don't run into a problem. I'm going to put out more paint. So from a technical point of view, it's a bummer when the microphone isn't on for Open Studio. It's not like, well, time-lapse ones, it doesn't matter because I don't use the microphone for the time-lapse videos, so that's fine. But for these, once I do the half-hour painting, I can't just redo that half-hour painting. It's done. Like, I have to move on. So when that happens, I have to voice over the whole video because, again, I can't just skip that video. I can't pretend it never existed. So it's a drag when that happens. All right, so fix these windows first. Let's palette the brush a little bit better. This brush has just about had it. That's better. And I did that one. So I have white in the brush. I can I? Oh, that's that. Okay, got it. I was going to do some other stuff with it, but I don't have to because I already did it. Now I can put those windows back in. This black is reasonably okay. I should put another drop of black out, but there's some like up here, this little thing up here that's kind of dried out, which is good. It's all about consistency of the paint, really, and that's true with airbrushing or with paintbrushing, If the paint's too thin, it's not going to work. If it's too thick, it's just not going to work. So, oh, what's going on up here? I got to look at the copy. All right, so there is a white. No, you know what? All right. I'm going to do this little towery building next because it's the same deal here. Like that locked in really well, but I don't really know what's going on here. So I'm going to start with what I know, and that's this little white towery building. And I have the whole thing as white, which threw me off originally, but I'm starting to see it now. It's gray. It's going to fade a little bit. That's good. This building up here is got a little bit. Since I got the white in the brush, I'm just going to jump around a little bit and clean up some of the photocopy cutout things of the things I know, that I can see really quick, and then I'm confident in too. Like I don't want to put in stuff that is not there. That's good. But I won't get rid of that white. I'll use it down here. I'll make like a gray, a light gray, which is going to be next for this tower light building. And the roof down here. Good. I don't like that either. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Focus on what you're doing. And that's also when I get into trouble, when I bounce around and start assuming I know what I'm looking at and putting color in everywhere. That can be a problem too. Because I'll go and put something in thinking it's what it is, and it's not, and then it, it's obviously gets I have to end up changing it later. Or even worse, it confuses me to the point of where I put something in the wrong spot and then just keep building on that. You know, that's the worst thing that could happen. Because then I have to redo the whole area, you know. Just one little white blast there. Yeah. Oopsie. There we go. I'm concerned about the distance between. So there's that. That's the gray roof. Alright, so the white should be above the gray roof. I just have this gray roof is bugging me because I don't think it's correct. So we're going to build it up a little bit. And then we're going to add that white on there. You guys, I keep saying it, you're going to love the top side of this painting when I'm just, you know, putting in, like, can you see over the side here? Yeah, down here. So when I'm, you know, doing buildings like this, you know, it's just like little dots. That's the fun part, because then you just will, again, I keep saying it, and the farther up we get, the faster it's going to go. Actually, I say that, but yeah, no, it's going to go fast. I just glanced up at it, and it is like that. All right, this comes down a little bit more. There we go. There. Okay, good. And then the rest of that is just kind of like texture in there, which is nice. I can't really tell what's going on there. And again, this is where I just gotta say, hey, you know, it is what it is. Like this roof here has just got like this weird texture to it. So that's what we're doing. The front of this building is actually airbrushed. This little guy right here. So we're gonna do that real quick before the end. And do I have other airbrushing to do? I do. This black, oh, it's not even in there. Yay, I win. I forgot I put the heavy duty black, the thicker black in the other brush, which is great. I'll do this a lot too. Like if I start to get like bogged down with the paintbrush and I'm like, what do I do? Then I'll switch to the airbrush and do a little bit of airbrushing, and that sometimes resets my head so that I can get back in the, you know, the swing. So these two little white square buildings here and here, those need a little bit of airbrushing down the bottom, just to kind of land them where they should, you know, just kind of get them not so harsh. The other thing I can do with the airbrush, remember at the end of when I was doing the roof here, and I'm like, oh, that's just a texture. So I can add some of that texture with the airbrush as well. And it kind of breaks things up. A little shadow on the roof of this building too. Let me find a straight edge here. Yay. Thank you, Medea, for your awesome templates. I don't get to use these as often as I should. I'm gonna, well, how much time we have? About 2 minutes, 1 minute. This is great. So this is one of the nail edge or nail master edge effects templates from Medea. They're designed for fingernail artists, but they're amazing because they have all these little really well cut out shapes, like horizontal lines, which will give you, oh, Steve, let's try that again. There we go. So they give you like horizontal lines, which are really great. So you can, if you have some, you know, if I have a line that I need to put in, and there, you know, there's 2, 3, and then 1, and there's a fat one, like the large one. So these are great. And then they have all these really funky, weird, you know, squiggly shapes too, which will allow you to do all kinds of other stuff. And they also have great edge textures too. This will allow you to do different things. So this, I mean, something like this is a really cool thing to have, and you would never think, you know, that this would be a template that you would need, a fingernail template, but it does a lot of really, really neat stuff, you know. And these little things would be extremely difficult to cut out. Not extremely difficult, but they would be really difficult to cut. Fun stuff. So that's on the NM6. There's a bunch of these too. So you get all kinds of different shapes and crazy things. All right, so cool. Here we go. So let me show you the whole thing. This is where we're at. We are making time on this, which is great. I'm feeling really good about this. Yeah, we're getting ready to move into the fun stuff, the teeny weeny buildings coming up next. And then we'll get the river done, and then that on the other bank of the river up top. And yeah, it seems like it's going to take forever, and it feels sometimes like it's going to take forever, but it really does. Just keep plugging along, and it gets done. All right. So if you'd like to help us out here, please hit that like and subscribe, and leave me a comment. If I missed something or you have a question, definitely throw it in the comments. We do these premieres every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and then the video's up after that. So do that for me. If you'd like to support us in a more financial way, you can certainly do that. Become a member here on YouTube, which will earn you a 10% discount all the time on my store, as well as early access to time-lapse videos on Tuesdays. So I hope you do that. That'd be great. All right, so for Steve Leahy and Through Lachlan's Eyes, I will catch you all next week.